Sutton. I'm the owner of Emerald Sunset. This Leopard 43, it's a 2007 model, 43 foot long by about 24 foot wide, and the draft is about 4.5 feet, allowing you to get into tight shoals. Come on aboard and let me give you a tour. We're going to start out on the back deck here. One of the standard features are these two davits. They're large enough to pick up a 3.1 meter rib. There's a motor mount on the other side for up to a 10 horsepower engine. Right now there's no dinghy, of course, in the davits. So one of the other features that I've added is this large Magma Monterey grill. This is the largest of the Magma series grills. And then additionally, this 4-foot Magma cutting board table. It's called a fish cleaning station, but mostly I use it for cooking back here. But nothing beats when you're offshore and you catch a yellowfin tuna or a mahi, pull them up on board, fillet them out right here, and then put them right on the grill or sushi them right there on the spot. So one of the main selling features that I liked about the Leopard 43 were these large sugar scoops. In 2005, they went from the 42 to the 43, and they actually added on a foot and a half onto these sugar scoops. And the great thing about them is when you're out swimming, you come up, you have a large area to dry off on, you know, a nice swim ladder, and then this is your pull-out shower that you can use to rinse off all back here on one side, and additionally you have the other side. Another great feature of these boats are the large lazarettes. Opened up, they're the same on the starboard side as on this port side. Additionally, on the starboard side, you can see here the dugout for it. This is where a spare rudder goes. So if it's an emergency tiller, so if you have damage to your steering system, you can hook that in and steer the boat as well. The Seafrost compressor for the refrigeration system is back here. But just to give you a feel for how deep these lazarettes are, I'm going to go ahead and climb inside. I mean, they're about 4 foot deep and about 5 foot wide. So this just gives you a feel for how large they are. I have all my dive equipment, my tackle for my chains for anchoring, all on this side, as well as all the fenders. You can just open it up and grab those while you're underway. So as we walk up forward, I want to also show you the nice wide walkway that gives you access to the bow. On many cats or smaller boats, the walkways are very narrow, but these are clean and allow you to walk all the way up forward. So this is the bow, of course, about 24 foot wide. Typically when we're underway, this is where everybody ends up. This is the main entertaining area. Nice big trampoline. You can sit here and listen to the water rush by. Even if the engines are running, you don't hear anything up here. Additionally, these sunshades act as steps going all the way up to the hardtop. So you can easily transit between the bow all the way up top to work on the main if you need to. So one of the main features of the Leopard 43 is this large windlass. You have a remote for raising and lowering the anchor. The chain is right there, runs through a tube. Here's I believe it's a 65-pound Delta anchor on about 150 feet of chain. It leads out to a bridle that's now tucked up underneath. When it retracts, the bridle goes out and keeps the boat stable while it's at anchor. But the additional feature of the winch allows you to take the halyard, the main halyard, loop it around, and then you can remotely pull up, hoist the mainsail from here. It's 63.5 foot high. I've measured it. It is ICW compliant. I've taken it up and down the ICW before, so it makes all the bridges. But with that large of a mainsail, it's really nice having the windlass do the work instead of you, and safer. Another feature is the large amount of storage up forward, as well as your two 100-gallon water tanks that are easy to access up on the bow. They also, being close to the center, don't affect the trim too much when you fill them up. So that's another nice naval architecture feature of this. But you can see all the storage up here. I have some fishing rods and our hammock that sits up on the bow. On the port side is the main anchor chain. On the starboard side is a spare anchor with 150 foot of road waiting to deploy in an emergency. So we're on the hardtop now, and the nice thing about having a hardtop, of course, is access to your main while you're underway. If any damage occurs, I can walk on, and I'm working at it chest level, which is the easiest. The Leopard 43 comes standard with lazy jacks and a stack pack. Honestly, when you're raising it up, it takes a little bit of time to get everything straight. But if you run into rough water or rough weather, the great thing about them is that you can drop that sail and gravity feeds right inside, and you're safe and sound at that point. So it's one of the features that I use all the time if I run into trouble, and I really appreciate. Additionally, you have access to your main sheet block and the traveler feeds up top here as well. So another upgrade that I've done to the boat are the two 250 watt solar panels. So there's one on the port side here, and I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's another one on the starboard side. Very simple system, mounted straight to the hard top. They produce about a maximum of 30 amps at 12 volts midday, and I'm going to take you inside in just a second and show you how that operates. So one of the advantages of the large beam of the boat is this very wide aft cockpit. It has plenty of room, seating on this side for about 8 to 10 people. This folds up as well and retracts to make it easy for you to get inside, as well as seating for another 2 on the port side, as well as the helm station goes back to allow seating when you're at anchor or at the dock. The other big selling feature of this boat for me when I bought it was the hard top. It covers the entire boat. It is not enclosed at this point, but that's certainly an upgrade that you could do. Additionally, you have access to the traveler right here on the main arch. The electronics and the helm station, when you're underway, the skipper's sitting right here talking to the crew or anyone else while you're eating. It just makes it easy to have communications and do things while you're underway. We have the electronic stations here, and I'll go through those in detail in just a minute, but just generally it allows you to have, you can see up to your main sheet up top, and additionally these doors open up to provide access to the interior. So this space becomes contiguous with your interior galley and the salon inside. So this becomes one big space when you're at anchor. It's really nice. You can cook inside, serve outside. The crowd just becomes one big community when you're on this boat. The controls are all right here. I have added a Simrad BNG system over top of the Ray Marine system so that I have redundant chart plotters for when I'm offshore. Getting into the BNG electronics, I have a 20-inch monitor mounted out here with the Simrad controller. This controls the chart plotter that sits inside. Behind that is the Ray Marine chart plotter that I can access and use additionally. It has the standard Ray Marine autopilot, as well as all the controls for your METOC data for wind speed, apparent wind, all those. And they feed into the Simrad system as well. I'm not sure how well you can see this on this display, but I have all of my wind speeds, wind angles, my ETA if I'm plotting my waypoints, as well as control of the XM system itself. So I can change my XM stations on the fly. If I'm at anchor and I want to turn the radio off, I can just hit the mute button, and then I can talk to the crew if necessary. So this is one of the features. This is looking from the helm station, and I can see the forward, starboard, bow, looking to the port side. And then one of the nice features is looking aft. I can see all the way down the aft, which the newer 44s and 48s with their raised helm station, they have a really tough time. So I have single-handed this boat being able to see all the way 360 around. Now your controls for your starboard sheets are right here in your main sheet, and then on the port side you have another winch that allows you controls for the port side. So now that we've looked at all the exterior features, why don't we come inside and I'll give you the tour of the interior. Alright, so this is the main salon area, and the galley is the port. This table is one that I put in. It allows a lot more space to maneuver around since it's just a few of us living on the boat. But there is a larger table that I can put in that allows seating for 8 all the way around, 8 to 10. It also goes down into a bed, so you can sleep another couple people out here. On the forward port side, we have the helm station. And I'll show you that in a second. The Leopard 43 has a galley to port. This allows for nice handholds and when you're in a sea state out in blue water or if you get a wake. And aft here is the refrigerator and the freezer, both forward loaded, which makes it easy, and a little bit of countertop space back aft. There's a 2-burner Force 10 stove with oven, and throughout there's storage underneath the sink. I've actually climbed up underneath the entire thing. It covers this whole area back here, so there's plenty of storage down there. So one of the standard features on a Leopard 43 as well is the 2 basin sink and a huge drying basin that you can also use as a 3rd sink if necessary. But remember, you don't have a dishwasher on the boat, so having a nice drying rack is very useful. One of the upgrades that I've done is I added a restaurant-style faucet that allows you to easily wash your pots and pans, no matter how large they are, and then put them into the drying rack. So this is the helm station. Again, as I said, I upgraded to the B&G nav system. It has the Simrad 4G radar, which is the newest solid-state radar system that allows for low power, quick startup over the standard magnetron systems. It also has XM weather and stereo integrated, so you can control your XM. You can see all your weather when you're 200 miles offshore. It's a nice feature. You're receiving all that weather data. Your stereo, the Raymarine VHF radio. These are your 2 air conditioner controls. Up forward, there's a 1600 BTU air conditioner, and back aft, there's a 16,000 BTU, and then back aft, a 10,000 BTU. This is your 12-volt panel, and to the right, you have your 120-volt panel for when you're connected to shore power. So I'm going to give you a tour of the solar panel controller system here inside the boat. Here you can see the main breakers for the solar panels, as well as this IPN Pro Remote. The great thing about this Pro Remote is it's a shunt type that actually monitors all of the 12-volt power going into the main breaker panel, so you can see what the draw is, and then it monitors that and provides the appropriate output from each of these controllers into the charging system. So it works really nicely. Here on the left, you can see the input is coming in at around 50 volts at 3.5 amps and providing at 12 volts about 9.4 amps out. We're at about 4 p.m. in the afternoon right now. At about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it'll put up to about 30 amps max out into the 12-volt system. So that allows me to stay at anchor for about 3 to 4 days without running my engines. And when I do run them, I only have to run them for about 2 to 3 hours every 3 to 4 days. So moving underneath the helm station, you can see the Master Volt 40 amp battery charger that I installed in 2012, as well as a 1 kilowatt inverter that's available to give you 120 volt power. On the back side you can also see the solar panel controllers. Alright, now I'll show you both the port and starboard staterooms. There are 4 of them on the boat. Again, this boat was designed and built for charter, so the 4 staterooms each have their own heads, which allows all the guests their own privacy. So come on down. Alright, so this is the forward stateroom here, if you can come on down. So this is the forward port stateroom. It's mirrored the same on the starboard, but as you can see, this is a large walk-around queen with an additional crew berth up here. Actually, the crew berth is one of my favorites because this hatch here, when the boat is underway, the catamaran scoops the air, pushes a lot of wind through here, and this berth is very stable in seas and just sleeps very comfortably. It's nice and quiet up here. But the large walk-around queen has plenty of storage underneath. This is all storage. So you can see a huge hanging locker here. Underneath there's another locker that's about this wide and is about 4 foot deep, and on the back there's another locker here. So lots of storage on the boat, lots of places where you can place your personal items, as well as fans. Every bed on the boat has its own fan for ventilation when you're at anchor. So this is the head for the forward port stateroom. As you can see, it has a little bit of storage up top, sink, and of course the head itself. To take a shower in this head, pull out this, and then you can take your shower. So let's go back to the aft port stateroom on this side. So a couple of the features of all the staterooms on the boat are the hatches that have screens, shade, or open all the way. So, additionally, I've changed out many of the reading lights to LED for low power, and again, each of the beds has its own fan. And the air conditioner ventilates back here as well. This bed actually folds up to allow access to the engine room. So let's talk about that. But here you can see one of the 2 40 horsepower Yanmar diesel engines. They're very easy to work on. This is your antifreeze, your coolant tank, access to your sea strainer, and your diesel fuel filters are there. Each engine has its own starting battery, which is really nice. That way if you run down your house batteries, you can still start your engines. And additionally, back aft is the those are I think they're Force 10 hot water heaters. Each one of them is 10 gallons. So this is the head for the aft portside stateroom. Again, you have nice lighting and ventilation up on the ceiling, as well as a side hatch. And this shower head comes out so that you can take a shower here as well. So we're on the starboard side aft stateroom now, and I'm going to show you this engine compartment for the second of the 2 40 horsepower Yanmar diesel engines. Again, all the easy access to the strainers and fuel filters. So this is another upgrade I've added to the boat. As an American, I like to take a shower. So I added this Kohler shower head. It's one of the, what do they call it, waterfall shower heads with the control valves here. So you just turn it on and it's tied right into the main water system on the boat. There's nothing else you have to do. So another item I wanted to quickly discuss are my logs. Everything that I've done on the project, Every time I get underway, I log in. So I have digital logs where I've taken pictures, put part numbers, time, cost, for every major project that I've done on the boat. Those go into a digital filing system that I can provide in a PDF form if you choose to buy this boat. Secondly are my manual logs. Every time I get underway, I fill out a cruising log, and I can provide those too. I have my maintenance logs and other items, of course the documentation and other important documentation that I have if I were to get stopped by the Coast Guard, readily available in this 3-ring binder. So I thought you might want to know a little bit of background about the boat and myself. So I bought this boat in 2012 out of Tortola in the British Virgin Islands. The boat was spent most of its time down in the Grenadines, very lightly used in the moorings fleet, which attracted me to the boat. It had very little wear and tear that you see on a lot of the charters that have been in Tortola, for example, that are heavily used. And since then, I've sailed it up 2,000 miles to Norfolk in Virginia, where the boat's been ever since. And I've taken excellent care of the boat, doing regular maintenance and upgrades that you've seen in this video. So hopefully the next owner will get a really good value for their money. So thank you for your time to watch this video on Emerald Sunset. If you have any questions, please contact Karl Weiss at the Catamaran Company.